G'day, I'm Warwick Schiller here for Weaver Leather. Welcome back to another episode of reconnecting with your horse during the coronavirus stay-at-home shut-in thing we've got going on here. So in the first episode I talked about just being around your horse without asking for something, and so I suggested you either, if you've got a really standoffish horse, go in there and just sit, go in there, read a book, go in there, drink a cup of tea, coffee, whatever it is you're having to drink, go in there and listen to a podcast, go in there, and if you do a meditation practice every day, go in there and do that. But if you have a horse that can be a bit in your space sort of thing, I suggested doing it outside. Hopefully you've done that for a few days, and probably now your horse is wondering what the heck's going on. You show up and you don't want anything. If you have been sitting out there, your horse may come over and start to engage with you, which is good, okay? And they might then wander off. Don't worry about if they wander off. There's no wrong answer, so that's the good thing about this stuff. But the next thing I want to start suggesting you can do that really helps build connection is what's known as matching steps, okay? And so if your horse lives out in a pasture and they're kind of standoffish, go out there and approach them to a distance to where if they were the runaway kind of horse, they wouldn't run away yet. And then just place your feet the same way their feet are placed. You know, if they're grazing, just, what you don't want to do is get close enough to make them run away. But just put your feet like their front feet, and then every time they move, you move. And horses tend to graze around the forward front foot. So what they tend to do is they tend to graze from here, around that foot, back again, then they place this foot and they graze around that and back again. And so a lot of times, you'll just have to be doing 1 foot at a time, but the matching steps, I've used it a lot at clinics to help horses a great deal. Last year I had a horse at a clinic, and online, on the halter with the flag, this horse was really distracted. The young lady that had the horse had a really hard time trying to get that horse's attention. It was either running over her or running away from her. It was really distracted. The horse had some separation anxiety from another horse that was stalled next to in the barn at that particular facility. And at one point in time, he got away from her, and we're in an arena that had a fence about this high, so he could quite possibly jump out. And I said, all I want you to do is match steps with him. So he kind of went up and down the arena a few times, and she was going along trying to match steps. And then at some point in time, it seemed like nothing was happening, but at some point in time, he was really distracted and looking off one end. And then he turned, and so he's now behind her, she turned and she was matching steps away from him. And then he just reconnected back to her, walked up right behind you, like you'll see here on this video. But you notice he went trotting around. This horse didn't pull away from me. There you go. That's when you're getting somewhere like, hey, she's not trying to catch me. There you go. Very good. Now don't trot. He didn't trot. You're only doing what he's doing. He's not doing what you're doing. Now just stop for a second. Just stop. And that's how you catch a horse. There you go. Very good. So you can see right there that horse went from being really distracted online to connecting back with her just because she matched steps. And the thing about the matching, I think there's two parts to the matching steps. They're saying, I can't connect with you. And instead of you saying, hey, you have to connect with me, you are connecting with them. That's one part of it. But I think the other part of it is when you match steps with a horse, you can't be thinking about breakfast, dinner, kids, work, coronavirus. You are thinking about, so that foot's going there and that foot's going there and that foot's going there, and it really makes you in the moment. And there's something that those horses pick up from that. So I think that's a great exercise to do. If you have a horse that tends to maybe be in your space a little bit, maybe going out there in a pasture with them doing that might not be the best idea, but what you can do is catch them and let them hand graze. And when you hand graze with them, just, you can either stand beside them or you can place one hand in there with her if you want to feel really connected, depending on your horse. And just wherever they move their feet, you move your feet. And so at this point in time, you're really trying to blend in with them and like in the first exercise, we're trying to get them to where they realise we don't want something, and the other part of this we're trying to do is we're trying to let them know how aware of them we are. And so I think if you can try that, like I said, I've seen some amazing changes in horses at clinics, and sometimes you've got to do it quite a bit. Something else you can do if you have to lead your horse somewhere, okay, for some reason you've got to lead them somewhere, if you can, try to match steps with them. So you're actually asking them to go, but as you're going, try to match steps with them while you're going. That's another way you can really connect with them, makes you really present in the moment. But for right now, if you can, I really want you to work on this where they're loose, like turned loose in the arena. If they live in a stall and you've got an arena, you can turn them loose in there. If they're out in a pasture, that's the best place. So start out there and see how you go.